Big developments this week in the Freddie Gray case. Officer Cesar Goodson, the driver of the van that transported Gray after his arrest, was found not guilty of all charges. That makes him the third officer in that case tried without a conviction. Meanwhile, there are growing calls for prosecutor Marilyn Mosby to step down and drop the charges against the other officers in this case. Here with reaction, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Good evening, Sheriff. All right, the Freddie Gray case and what happened in Baltimore is pretty much a symbol of the black community's distrust of law enforcement. And yet here we had a black prosecutor, a black victim, a black defendant, and a black judge. Is this a racist verdict?
Not even hardly. Judge, look, this woman, Marilyn Mosby, is drowning in her own incompetency. Justice has prevailed for one of Baltimore's finest yet again. Look, you're a former prosecutor, a district attorney. You never would have charged this case. You were a judge. You sat and heard these types of cases. You would have dismissed this too. Keep in mind that Marilyn Mosby, before she became the state's attorney in that county in Baltimore, has never charged or prosecuted a homicide case.
That's right.
She does not know anything that goes into this. I investigated homicides.
Lawyer. Did you know that, David?
Right.
She was an insurance lawyer. And within 24 hours of getting the autopsy report, she says, it's a homicide, we're going to indict. And then she says, I hear your call, as if she's the queen who's going to come out and calm the masses. What's going on in this woman's head?
Well, she weaponized the prosecutor's office there looking for a political end. She went on a witch hunt looking to hang one of Baltimore's finest for something that they did not do. I've investigated a lot of homicides myself. I've taken them in for charging. If you were the prosecutor in this, I would have said, Madam District Attorney, we don't have anything here other than a horrible tragedy. There's no criminal intent on anybody's part, and you would have done the right thing. I think right now Marilyn Mosby is going to have to dig down and find the moral courage to do the right thing here. She continues to put up this facade, and the good people in the city of Baltimore have to relive and have this wound open and relive this horrible tragedy over and over and over again because of her incompetence. She promised something she cannot deliver. It's time to let the city of Baltimore put this ugly chapter behind her and let them move forward. I'm asking the Attorney General of the state of Maryland to move in, take this case over, go into a court, ask that these charges be dismissed, and end this horrible nightmare.
You know what's interesting, Chief, is Sheriff, I should say, is the fact that when they were put to the test of proving the evidence of this depraved heart murder, they couldn't even prove anything with how many minutes of video they had. The defendant who was in the van, another prisoner, said, nah, everything was fine. And, you know, the guy, there were two minimal infractions, one that involved a wider turn than it should have been, which would have been, according to, you know, the defense, the G-force would have benefited the victim in the case. I mean, does the woman not know how to prove a case?
No, she doesn't, because she should have never charged this case. Look, she made this decision even before the investigation was completed by the Baltimore Police Department. That's why I said she was engaging in political chicanery with the law here. And now she doesn't know what to do. She may become the first prosecutor in U.S. history to have a 6-defendant case and go 0 for 6.
Well, those are pretty bad numbers. But let me ask you this. Look, as a DA, I ran my office. You know, I had a lot of investigators and cops who worked for me. The most important thing that we can do as prosecutors is to work closely with cops. How do you think it's working in that DA's office for the victim of rape, the victim of larceny, a burglary? I mean, when the cops go into the DA's office, I mean, what's it like? This woman is looking to hang these people with no evidence. How does this impact the community?
She's damaged. She has no integrity. This relationship is ruined between her, the community, and the law enforcement officers, Baltimore's finest. That's why I think that she should give up her law license after she pulls out of this, and if not, I think the Maryland Bar Association ought to conduct an investigation and suspend her license. A first-year law student, a first-year person who's in law school would know, Judge, you know this, that they don't have anything to suggest any criminality above the standard needed, especially for a homicide. I've worked homicides. I brought them in for review. It's a very high standard, and most times prosecutors don't take chances with these types of cases.
All right, Sheriff David Clarke, thanks so much for being with us.